What's up, guys, and welcome to this episode of Bits, Bytes, and Body Slams. This is your WWE video game podcast. We have a pretty big week this week. Now, there wasn't much happening in the world of WWE and their video games like 2K19. I should probably put my phone on silent, otherwise we're going to be hearing noises the whole time. So instead, I have a pretty big show, which I'll get to in a second. This is the 7th episode of the podcast already. That's almost 2 months I've been doing this podcast. If that's not crazy, I don't know what is. Of course, we're covering all things WWE video games, and next week there'll be another episode where we're covering the WWE pay-per-view, being Extreme Rules, coming up very soon, like a week from now. Now, this podcast is both a video and audio podcast, so if you're listening to the audio version and you want to watch the podcast, go to youtube.com/DeanB for that. And if you're on youtube.com/DeanB, go to where you listen to your podcast, wherever that may be, and you can listen to the audio version. And if you are thinking to yourself, Dean, when does the podcast come out? When do I know when it's going to come out? Well, if you subscribe or follow me on your different platforms, you'll get notified. But if you're not following me, it's each and every Sunday at 11 a.m. Sydney time. So that's 9 a.m. in Perth, 7:30 a.m. I stuffed it out. It's my first time stuffing it up in 7 bloody episodes. 7:30 a.m. in New Delhi, 2 a.m. in London, 9 p.m. in New York on the Saturday, and 6 p.m. in LA again on the Saturday. Now, this episode, just like last week's episode, is brought to you with the help of twitch.tv/Kofi and twitch.tv/Snowbike I don't know why I emphasize his name so much. That's a story for another day. Be sure to check out both Kofi and Snowbike Mike's Twitch channels in the description, either on the video or audio version, whatever you're on. They'll be in the description, which is great for your convenience. And if you're like, but what do they do on Twitch? They basically do variety streams. They're very chill guys. They're kind of funny best friends, as am I, and that's how we got to know each other. So they're going to be really nice people. And Snowbike Mike has pugs, so that's always cool. Anyway, that's it for the opening segment. That's it for all the the non-WWE stuff out of the way. Without any further ado, let's get into the opening segment, Talking Raw. Now, Talking Raw this week is going to be a little bit different to usual. So usually with Talking Raw, I talk about the topics around the video games, and I just talk about them. Now, it's kind of going to be the same today, but the main focus is what could be, and I used to say this a lot, the elephant in the room. Let's talk about the elephant in the room being my new whiteboard. If you're an audio listener, I literally have a whiteboard now that's going to stick up behind me, because I was going through some of my older podcast episodes, and I realized I like to predict a lot. So obviously, I have a poll prediction episodes when it's a new pay-per-view. But on top of that, this week's Talking Raw is predicting different things that are going to be coming into WWE 2K19. So right now, my board is completely empty, and if you're an audio listener, you can't see the board, but believe me, if you're a video listener or video watcher, you can see it's completely empty. So I'm going to write in here, for the first time ever, WWE 2K19 predictions. And let's hope I spell predictions right. If you're watching the video version, I apologize for my bad handwriting. But there we go. The title is there. I typed out some predictions, which I believe are going to come true with 2K19. And I'd like to tell you guys about them. I'd like to get your opinions on them. They're going to be behind me at all times. And they're kind of just there to be a little reminder. Because, for instance, I predicted a few things about the the release date of the game, which I got wrong. I predicted a thing about the cover style, which I got wrong. So hopefully I will not get these wrong. And let's start off with the other pre-order bonus, which we talked about last week. We talked about, you know, Rey Mysterio being the first pre-order bonus. And I said, and I'm going to write this down, this is a hard evidence, that the other pre-order bonus is none other, or is going to be none other than Ronda freaking Rousey. So I'm writing that on here. So it's out into the universe. And also so I can actually remember what I predicted. Now I'm going to put a little box next to each of these predictions that I put down. So I can either tick them or cross them out when I think get them right or wrong. So the reason why I think she's going to be a pre-order bonus is, like I said last week, she's that household name, like Rey Mysterio, okay? Maybe a few of the younger kids might not know who Rey Mysterio is because he hasn't been around for a while. But if an older person like myself goes into EB Games or the game store and they go, hey, you want to pre-order 2K19, WWE2K19, you get to play as Rey Mysterio and Ronda Rousey. That's covering a whole part of the world that knows either Mysterio, Rousey, or both. And that's why I think Ronda Rousey is going to be the pre-order bonus, as well as I think it'll be a nice little add-on, because I don't think she could be with the full roster just yet. Like I don't think they can just add her as a character in the game and not make it special. It's Ronda Rousey. They need to, especially the way that they've been treating her, they need to give it a little bit of extra something. So the next thing I'm going to write down here is game mode. So this is a match type, a game mode that I think would be in the next game. Actually, I have two here. So I'm going to write them down. I'm going to show you what it says. And to the audio listeners, I will verbally tell you what it says. Don't worry. I'm just making sure I am spelling everything correctly. So there's the first one. And then the next one, I'm also writing down. Again, these are two different match types. So the first one I have down is a special referee match. So I believe the special referee stipulation match type is coming back. I really hope you can choose to have a referee shirt on any superstar that is a special guest referee. It's been in the games before. I want to see it come back. And the other is a mixed tag team match. Men, women alike coming together. They had the whole mixed tag tournament, so I wouldn't see why the mixed tag team match wouldn't be in the game. All right, here's a big one. I'm gonna write down the big game mode. So this is like bigger than just a match type. And I've talked about this before, and everyone around has talked about this as well. So if it doesn't happen, WWE Games, 2K, what are you doing? But I'm sure you all can already see this coming. So alongside my career mode, I think it's about time we have a female my career mode. Now I talked about this and I said people probably won't play it. I was thinking about it a bit more. If they have a roster size big enough, bring back a few legends. I mean, bring back everyone basically, plus more that they had in the Women's Royal Rumble. I could see it working. Obviously, you're not going to have as many challenges and title opportunities as you would as a male superstar, because you can't go for a mid-tier title. You have to go straight to the top. But you have Raw and SmackDown, you have NXT, you have different chances right there. And the last thing is, what do I even call this? I'm going to write a little bit extra, because it doesn't really have a proper title to put this under. The final thing that I'm predicting will be hitting the WWE 2K19 video games when it comes out this year are loading times. we've seen loading times in the past few games. They're pretty terrible. They're not fast. Actually, you know what? I'm going to stop talking about loading times because come the latest SmackDown segment, I'll be talking about loading times a lot more. So there they are. They're up there now. I kind of have my microphone stand in the way. There you go. They're a bit hard to see. But I'm going to bring it down every few weeks. Check out my predictions. Add a few more if I have to. But yeah, that was a bit of a weird talking Raw. I apologize if that was a little bit boring. I just thought it'd be a bit fun. You know. Recording it for you. Didn't seem as good as I thought it would. But on that note, let's go to the real deal, Titus O'Neil. So the real deal, Titus O'Neil, is where I go through all the latest news that has come out about 2K19, about the next WWE video game. Nothing's happened. Literally, 2K been silent about it. There's been a few things for Supercard, but that's not what this show's about. The only thing I could really find, which is a little bit different, was the YouTube channel Smack Talks. If you don't know who they are, I don't know how you don't know them if you are watching this. They got a really cool package from the WWE Games Twitter page. It was a Money in the Bank briefcase. Even though I believe it's the female Money in the Bank briefcase, but I'm just saying. And it was basically promoting the $1 Million Challenge. So he opened it up and it basically had a note saying, you know, are you phenomenal enough? I think it said, you know, referencing the $1 Million Challenge. And then it had a bunch of like cookies or biscuits in there that looked like $1 Million notes, and it had like the $1 Million Challenge on it. Again, this is just a promotion for the $1 Million Challenge. I thought it was pretty cool. And I'm also putting it out there because I'm kind of like, hey, like 2K, WWE Games, like, yo, I can give you my address if you don't have it. I'm just putting it out there. I'm just saying. Now, again, not much else other than that has happened on the 2K front for 2K19. Obviously, I will bring you more when I have it. On that note, though, let's go over, which there is a little bit to talk about. Let's go over to Here Comes the Rumors. So I have two things to kind of talk about with Here Comes the Rumors. And the first one isn't really a rumor. It was more just a request, maybe. I don't know how to really put it, but I'll tell you what it says and then I can't talk about it. The official Twitter page for China, obviously not run by China. I believe what I was told is it's run by one of her friends, put out a tweet basically saying, I think it's time, we think it's time as fans that China is put into the 2K19 or the WWE video games. Basically saying, you know, let the fans play as China, let the legacy of her live on through the games. Now, for me personally, I just realized my Warzone game is not that bit better. If you're an audio listener, that means nothing to you. For me personally, this, it wouldn't, how do I put this? If she's in the game, if she's in the next game, if China is a part of 2K19, cool. I'm down. I probably wouldn't play her, so just because I don't feel like I need to at all. Like I have no reason to. But for those who want to play her, so that would be cool if she's in the next game. If she's not in the next game, okay, I understand. Cool. Like maybe next year. It's, to me, whether it happens or not, it's not going to change my perspective on anything. I'm sure if 2K or WWE say, no, we don't want her in the next game for whatever reason, then she'll be created through the creation suites, and you know everyone, there'll be like 18 different versions of China on 2K19, and I'm sure there's already like 50,000 on 2K18 as well. So just know you'll most likely be able to play as China, whether it's actually from 2K or creation suite. But I thought it was pretty cool. Also, the Boogeyman put out a similar tweet being like, hey, let us play as the Boogeyman, and I was just like, all right, Boogie. It's, you know, maybe next year, man. Now, the only other bit of rumors that we have, and I don't know how to feel about this. I kind of feel like there's a little bit of nothing, but I thought I'd still put it out there anyway. The YouTube user Macho T, who I get a lot of my news from, he does some really good content. Go check him out if you haven't already. He made a video about the WWE 2K19 Season Pass, because if you go into the Xbox store, you can go look at the a bit of detail about the Season Pass. Now, with that, it says on there that the content from the Season Pass will all be made available by October 2019. That's basically going to be the release date of the WWE 2K20. So I don't know if this could be one of two things, I believe. Anyway, this is just me. Let me know what you think. Bytes, bodyslams@gmail.com, or tweet me at thatdeanbguy. Now, this could either mean one of two things. As I said, it could mean that the next game could very well have content being dropped month after month after month. It could have, big attire drops. It could have new superstars. It could have anything they really want to add into the game through the Season Pass up until 2K20 does come out. That'd be really cool. And that'll be something that 2K hasn't done before, I don't believe. The thing is, what I think this most likely is more of a placeholder date, being like, yeah, it's going to be available by October 2019. And once they have official numbers, they'll be like, hey, it'll be available by March 2019, by February 2019, whenever they think their last pack will be out. Do I wish this would be, a bit of a confirmation of an all-year, all-new Season Pass? Heck yeah, that'd be amazing. Do I think 2K would do that? Not really, to be honest. I'm just saying. We'll keep a lookout on that. I'll keep you guys updated if I do find out more. But on that note, let's move over to lay the smack down. I apologize if this episode is a bit of a quicker one than usual. The content this week isn't flowing as much as it usually does. But Lay the Smack Down is where I talk about a feature of the next 2K game that I either want to change, add, or remove. Now, as I said in Talking Raw, loading times aren't a feature. But I'm still going to talk about loading times because I think it could turn into a sort of feature for the next game. So, before we go any further, I play my games on a first generation PlayStation 4. So if my loading times are a bit slower than yours, that would be why. If you have like a newer gen console, or a newer iteration of the console. But for me, loading times in like 2K18, for instance, have been slow. To get from the main menu into creating a superstar, it takes a couple of minutes between the loading times and the menus. I think 2K either need to figure out a way to get those loading times to be shortened a lot. And I understand the graphics mainly the graphics is the reason why it does take so long to load. But loading up an 8-man match using all custom superstars takes roughly like 3 to 4 minutes. I'm not even kidding. It is ridiculous. But I have two options, or I have two ideas for you, 2K and WWE games, whoever's listening to me on this one. Imagine you're about to start a match and your loading screen comes up, and it happens. You're loading all custom superstars for a custom title in a custom arena. It's going to take a while to load. So the two options and the two ideas I had. Now think about if you ever played a FIFA game. As the game is loading, as your match is loading, you can do little challenges. What I reckon would be cool is imagine if they implemented a mini game on the menu system, and that mini game could be a very simple mini game where you mash a few buttons, which I'll get to in a second because that's my second option. But my first option is imagine like an old WWF/E arcade game, such as WWF WrestleFest from back when. I think it was WrestleFest, one of the Wrestle games. Imagine an arcade game where you have, make it new. Have 12 different superstars that you can choose from. Kevin Owens, John Cena, Braun Strowman, The Miz. Have a few good superstars there. And just have these little quick matches in an arcade style while the game loads. Now, while I think that could work for the longer created matches, loading times, there's sometimes we go into a little menu and there's, the menu will load in about 10 to 20 seconds. So having a whole match, choosing your superstars and all that in like a Wrestle arcade game might not work as well. So my second idea is all surrounding virtual currency, the VC. So right now you gain VC by completing matches and doing all that fun stuff. Imagine if there was a mini game where it's either two superstars that keep hitting each other, or you have to keep mashing a button to have your superstar run down to the ring, something like that. And the more you do it, the more VC you earn. So just say it's a button mashing kind of game for 30 seconds, you're button mashing the whole time, and every 5 times you press a button, you gain 1 VC. And in the end, after 30 seconds, you've gained yourself like 20 VC. That's 20 VC that you didn't have before. Now, I know 20 VC might not be enough. It could, there would have to be a bit of a back and forth and making sure this is the right numbers going forward. But numbers aside, that could be a really easy way to distract the player from these long waiting periods. And it will distract me for sure. FIFA, I didn't even I can't tell you how long a FIFA game takes to load because I'm usually doing the challenges, whether it's a penalty shootout, whether it's some kind of drill, and I'm not paying attention to the game's loading time. Now, saying that, playing on the Switch, I know the game loads very, very quick because it's not loading that Frostbite engine. So 2K, I give you that one for free. If you want to use it, go ahead. Whether it be an arcade game or a little mini game, a mash mini game where you get VC, I think that's a really cool idea. Let me know what you guys think. Comment section below on YouTube. Tweet me at that D&B guy, or hit me up, bitsbytesbodyslams, like gmail.com. But guys, now let's take a bit of a breather. We're going to go into our final segment. And yeah, again, it's a more relaxing time. Let's get into On This Day. Stretch my legs out. I got my drink here. On This Day is in full effect. We have a few pretty cool matches to cover. We only have about 4 matches, but the last one's a little bit of or the last couple, it's a bit of a hefty pay-per-view. So if you don't know what On This Day is, it's where I go through the history books and look at what's happened on this day. That is, for this episode, the 8th of July here in Australia when it's uploaded. In the future, I might change this to be the next day, on this week, something like that. But for right now, actually, I really like the idea of on this week, or this past week. I heard a beep. That means they're agreeing with me. But for now, as I said, we're going to keep it as it is. And I was like, I looked at this for a second. I saw CM Punk and Randy Orton. And then I saw Raw 2002, and I was like, huh? But 2 of the matches mixed together here. So we're going to be back to 2013. The main event of Raw. This is where CM Punk defeated Randy Orton via pinfall. Again, main event of Raw 2013. CM Punk coming in with victory. Just a little, fun match there to start off on this day. For the 8th of July. Then we move back to 2002, Monday Night Raw. We're covering 2 matches. And we're covering more than 1 match at a pay-per-view. It usually means there's some kind of stipulation happening in the other match. This match that we're going to be mentioning was for the European Championship. The champion, William Regal, was taking on Jeff Hardy. And in this match, Jeff Hardy came out on top, and we have a new European champion again in Jeff Hardy. Now, the main event on that Raw was a 10-man tag match. This first name I don't mention very often. Chris Benoit, yes, tagged with Eddie Guerrero, Kevin Nash, The Big Show, and X-Pac to defeat Booker T, Bubba Ray Dudley, Goldust, RVD, and Spike Dudley. Again, via pinfall, they won that match. Chris Benoit and Eddie Guerrero in a 10-man tag match, teaming up with The Big Show, Kevin Nash, and X-Pac. Sounds pretty cool. Now we move back to 1985. This is where we had our first ever King of the Ring tournament. If you go into YouTube and type in King of the Ring 1985, there's this really cool promo video from 1985. It's actually really cool. Go watch it if you want that nostalgic feeling. The main event to become the new King of the Ring, or the last match in the tournament, it was Don. I think it's Marcio. I apologize if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly. Versus the Iron Sheik. Now Don Marcio, I'm going to pronounce it again, had to defeat Junkyard Dog, Les Thornton, and Pedro Morales to get into the final, and the Iron Sheik defeated B. Brian Blair, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, and Jim Brunzell to get into the final. And in that final, Don Mauricio defeated the Iron Sheik. Again, I apologize about his name. I have no idea if I'm saying it correctly. So Don Mauricio, again with the name, became the first ever King of the Ring. You think I'd know his name? He is the first ever damn King of the Ring. But the funny thing is, that wasn't the main event for that evening. The main event was for the WWF World Heavyweight Championship, where Hulk Hogan defeated Nikolai Volkov via pinfall. A pretty stacked on this day, a somewhat stacked episode. Guys, if you did enjoy, be sure to hit the thumbs up button wherever. If you're on YouTube, if you're on iTunes, hit those stars, give a rating. I basically say that every week because it does definitely help the podcast get out there and get listened to by as many people as possible. But guys, that is it. I'll catch you in the next one. The whiteboard will be back next week, so stay tuned for that. Next week again is a pay-per-view episode, so it is a little bit longer. We're going to have Wrestling Brain versus Wrestling Game once again. We're going to have a pay-per-view segment, so get ready for that longer show. But until then though, keep on body slamming. Peace.